Sav here, and today we're going to be talking to you about how much to clear or turn the hips in the direction of your target. How does that work? I mean, because, you know, you've seen some videos where they're talking about how many degrees your hips should be open in relation to your shoulders and all that good stuff, or not so good stuff. And we want to let you know that the machine that you're using works at 40 million bits of information per second, and your conscious mind can only be in one place at a time. That's been proven without a shadow of a doubt. And it works at 40 bits of information per second. So for you to think about how many degrees to open your hips while you're performing your task,
ain't gonna work.
Ain't gonna work. It's sabotage on an epic scale. So now we've got 4 clubs that we're gonna be, performing that task with. So you remember throwing the club?
Yep.
And so if you were gonna set up, and this is a very, very awesome drill actually. Let me get a couple of these. If you guys don't have a safe area to do this in, take a couple of tennis balls and wrap them around the end of a shaft, and show me what you're doing. So,
oh, this is light.
It's very light, isn't it? So you got your target that you
Yeah.
want to send this at, and so show me a couple of excellent. So what are you thinking about? Hold your finish after you throw it out there. So that's 3 in a row. Hold your finish, dear. Come on, we're trying to show people some stuff here. Oh, so that's 4 in a row. Look where your arms are. Beautiful extension, no chicken wing.
No.
Notice how much your hips have cleared in that direction.
Yeah.
The reason why your hips are going to be able to clear the exact amount at the exact right time is because you have a target.
Target.
So now here's another little throw that you're going to do. We're not done with these yet. So set up to the ball, and let's see you throw that into the ball. Throw it into the ball.
What?
Yeah. Where are your hips pointing?
Right there.
See? No hip turn. How cool is that? So we just got you to outrace your body with your arms. So you know when you hear that expression, your arms are outracing your body? Where do you think that comes from? It comes from you not being in the right place in here.
Yeah.
So notice how gorgeous that was, right? You want to stick the club in the ground and hit it fat? Throw the club at the ball. That's the perfect way to do it.
Yeah.
So now, do a couple of wedge shots here. You got your gap wedge.
Yeah.
So do a swing above the ball. Here's how you guys are going to be able to do this. And you'll see this in my throwing the club, Shawn Clement, and predict solid contact and direction, Shawn Clement. So throw the club in that direction. So pretend you're throwing it into that diamond-shaped target that you never missed once. And do you predict right now with this much above the ball you're going to miss?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Awesome. So did you full out throw it? There. So you felt the certain amount of hip turn there?
Yeah.
Lower the club to the ground. If you throw it the same way, do you feel like you're going to cut the dandelion stem?
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Right in the center line, right there, it's cozying up to like inches from the hole at 100 yards with that lovely little gap wedge that you have. And so, see, exactly 100 yards on the nose. The brain knew exactly when to shift, because what's going to happen is you're going to shift weight first.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get a clear. And while I'm explaining this to you, I've got a nice slow motion going on above our in the next screen here. And so when she's throwing those tennis balls into the net there, and she's not missing, her brain's got to go get the lead leg, use the lead leg to get the hips out of the way. So what clears the hips is the right sequencing of that weight shift. And what shifts your weight is you going in that direction.
Yeah.
One thing's for sure, in order to get some easy hip clearance, and you saw that from our video we did last week with Mickey Wright, in order to get some proper hip clearance on the way through, it's important that you gather a nice full hip turn in the backswing.
Yeah.
And then you get that wonderful rotational momentum that's going to help you get to the target. So let's do a couple of drivers. Good. Started right on line, left center of the fairway. Nice, good carry. So what was the only thought that you had in your mind?
Going that way.
Just the direction that you were throwing the club on. So there's your 240, stock carry on that driver. Let me get that tee for you here. Awesome. Ooh, that was killed. So, whoa. All right.
Ah, it stopped it.
The green stopped it. The green's at 250, and she basically hit it in the center of the green. So, but look at that. I mean, 8 degrees on the way up. It started 1 degree left, and it's got maybe a ½ degree of curve back to the right. I mean, you just left that 10 feet left of the center line.
Yeah.
So, and your only goal was to throw the club here.
Yeah.
So because you were throwing the club there, you had the exact amount of hip turn that you wanted to get.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look righty. So I'm playing a little draw, staying right edge of that, going to the right edge of that diamond-shaped target. And I'm staying there, and I'm staying there. So you'll notice that one of the things I wanted to add to it is when you're throwing the club in that direction, you won't overdo the hips either, because I see so many of you trying to turn the body on the way through here, and when you overdo it that way, you're raking yourself across the coals, man. You're pulling across the ball like crazy, and you're also throwing yourself out in front of the ball. So if you try to overturn the hips, see where my head is? Now the ball is so far back in my stance that I'm going to have to reach back to not miss it, or I'm going to end up blocking it way out to the right, and I won't be able to get that full release. When you stay in the direction that you want the ball to go, so this is what I wanted to show you, is if I try to overturn my hips, you see how my head just moved way out in front? And now my club is forced over the top and across the ball. How do you coordinate that? Well, if you have a direction that you want to throw the club on, so if I'm going to throw this to the right edge of that, right on to the right edge of that diamond-shaped target there. So I'm going that way, throw that way. So notice how that ball started just a hair to the right. It actually drew all the way back to my center line, so that was more like a Bubba Watson draw. Because I stayed in the direction that I wanted it to go, notice my hips now? They're turned exactly the right amount. If you were to put a number on it, 20 to 30 degrees more open. So I'm throwing that way, throwing that way, throwing that way. See that? Throw. So I just released in the direction I wanted that ball to start. My head's still back. Now the motion can pull my head up and into that finish. So when I stay with my target, I get the exact amount of weight shift, and then the amount of hip and shoulder turn, if you will, on the way through. It's more like pelvis and rib cage. So I'm just going to throw it right edge of that. I see the right edge of that. I'm staying there, and I'm staying there. So on the way through, I had the right amount of hip turn in order to get to that. So you won't overdo it. You won't underdo it. If you get out in front, you just lost your anchor, you can't release. If you stay with your target, you'll notice that your head stays back and anchors that release to the target, and it prevents the hips from over clearing as well. Because you're going to the target, they're clearing plenty. Because you're staying with the target, they're clearing the right amount. See where we're going? So I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll see you next week.